Okay, so you have your paper. Estimate about how big you want your drawing to be within the paper. So I'm going to make my drawing within that box, if you can see it. So my drawing is going to be roughly that big. I'm going to take a line called the the horizon. It doesn't stay in your drawing, you just use it to find your points. So you do it lightly. Think about where the center of your focus for the building will be. So I'm going to look at that corner where the front wall meets the side wall, and that's going to be right about here. Okay, so you can see that it's right here. Then I'm going to just choose two arbitrary points along my horizon line. I'm going to choose one here, and then I'm going to choose one here. They should not be within the drawing area, which is right here. They're outside the drawing area. Choose one there. Okay? It doesn't really matter where you put them. As you learn to draw, you'll discover the character of the drawing will change depending on where you put these arbitrary points, but I'm just trying to show you the technique. Every line that represents a vertical line in reality stays vertical when you draw. It's the difference between making lines that are in perspective, meaning when you look at things far away, they look smaller, right? But when you draw things in perspective, all the lines that in reality are straight up and down, you draw them straight up and down. You don't slant them at all. And that's the key to making a decent looking perspective drawing, okay? So here's going to be the corner. I'm going to move, to change my mind, and move it a little bit. Okay, so that's going to be the full height of my wall from here to here. That's the corner. Now I'm going to draw this side, I'm going to draw that side. And when you draw them towards the point that you make. And that's going to represent them in perspective, and they get smaller as they get further away. Now the wall's not triangular. I'm going to choose the end of my wall to be here. So I'm going to add another vertical line like that. And I can erase these. They don't mean anything. It's just for finding the points. That's one wall. This is going to be the other wall. If that's you calling me, hang up. And I'm going to choose the end of the wall right here and make another vertical line. Like that. Those are my walls for the building in perspective. Okay? Now I'm going to do this drawing a little bit different. I'm going to make the end of the roof here and the long part of the roof there. And the way you draw the end of a roof is to keep in mind that roof's an extension of the wall. So find what looks to be the center of the wall, which is right here. That looks like it. It doesn't matter what it measures because you're trying to draw something that looks in perspective. And you're just going to find, just draw a light line so you know about where that is. Decide how much higher you want the roof than the top of the wall. I think it's going to look good if I make it that high. So I'm going to make it that high. That's the center of the wall, which is the center of the roof. I'm going to bring the line down to that wall. I'm going to bring the line down to this wall. Now to draw the ridge of the roof, it also terminates at this point to the right. So I'm going to use the point to find out where it goes, where the point meets the horizon line. I'm going to draw it. And that's where it is. Now to draw this line's actually an extension of a vertical wall, so there's no rule for doing it. You just kind of have to eyeball it. So I think, does that look right? No. Does that look right? Yeah, that's from this corner to this. How do I find the end? I just figure out where it looks about right. Yeah, that's about right. So I'm going to draw the end there. See where it intersects. Which is right there. Now another trick to drawing, the outside lines of a drawing should be darker than the other lines. That's dark. That's dark. This one's dark. This one's dark. And this one's dark. This is essentially hitting the ground. If you wanted to put a door in here, draw the door, and then you could draw a path like that. If you're standing on the path, it gets smaller as it goes far away. Okay? If you're going to draw shingle lines, they use the point. This is called a vanishing point, by the way. You figure out where you want to start your shingle line. Like you want to draw these shingle lines, and they should be very light. You use that vanishing point to draw everything that's on that roof, because they're not straight, they're not horizontal, they're in perspective. So each time I draw something that's within this roof, I'm going to use this vanishing point. And if I keep doing it, it'll look fine. If you're doing siding, because it's on this plane, you could also use your vanishing point. Siding, 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 and then you just draw them. Okay. Here's the rule for darkening lines. If it was a real building that you drew, if something could hide behind it, a person could hide around this corner, a person could be hiding around the other side of this surface, around the other side of that one, around the other side of this one, and around the other side of this one. This is the ground, so they can't hide on the other side. This they'd be in full view. This is the ground they can't hide on the other side. So all these are light lines. The detail lines that might show like a difference between one shingle to the other should be super light. If you don't understand any of this, call me.